So there's Bella. So we found out this morning that Bella has malaria. This is what a baby with malaria looks like. No symptoms.
No symptoms.
So Michelle woke up this morning and noticed that Bella's poop had changed color, and she's been eating. She hasn't lost weight. She is happy. She wasn't having a fever. Nothing. And then so when the poop changed color, what color was it? Green.
Green. Yes.
So when it turned green, she took her to the pharmacy this morning, and then went and took her, and then boom, she's got a bad case of malaria. You went to the hospital. Okay. So we're a little shocked.
Blood exam.
They took her blood. Where'd they take her blood from?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, she cried.
Yeah.
So, like I was telling you about malaria in Africa, it's not a matter of if you get it, it's when you get it. I've had malaria now since I've been here one time, and I take the malaria medication or anti-malaria pills every 3 months. I take a 90-day dose. And even I have gotten malaria. So that's some of the dangers that come with that. But the reason why I'm making the video today is because I've had a lot on my mind lately. This channel hasn't gone the way I wanted it to. I was gonna go out and travel and see the country and do things, but now that I got a family, Bella's little, I'm here at the house, so I haven't really gone out. So now I'm gonna be 55 this year, and the things, when you're an expat or you're a passport bro, and you go to live in another country, because listen, I have said this before, that I'm not bringing any woman back to the United States. If you go online, you can see plenty of guys that say, "Oh yeah, I brought my wife back and everything's fine. We've been married 20 years."
Nigeria, Ghana, when it comes to African women, they just drag their men into the court system. One of the things that I've noticed in this system or in this problem is poverty. Bring these Indian women. They're making 150,000, 180,000. They don't drag their men into court. Plus, sometimes, like in most places, all the places I've ever worked in information technology, they'll have one car. Not that I'm supporting that behavior, but there's something strange on why I see them. They have one car. They wait for their husbands. Even if their husbands are working 2 hours overtime, over their time, they'll wait. Some of them pregnant, waiting for their husbands. When it's finished, they go into the same car with their husband and drive home. I watch Indian women and women from so many other places. They're not crazy about the Louis Vuitton, Gucci, all the designers wears. They're not even interested. Indian women, I meet them. They've been here 15 years, 20 years. They still keep their accent. They still speak as if they're living in India. But when I meet our women, and our women, all that they have to do is just get to a level of where they're making 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 or 80,000 a year. I'm talking about small money. Small money. Immediately the marriage is in danger. And they change. They start bleaching, and they start talking. Sure, yeah, sure. Yeah, I went. Oh my God, I went to New York. And I'm like, even I, who was born here, I don't speak like that. I look at others like the Chinese. They can't speak English very well, and their women may be driving very expensive cars that belong to their husbands. And I look at the Indian women who don't speak English very well, and they're not interested in changing their accent or their undertone, and they wear their native dress, that thing and everything to work. I look at Korean women, I look at other women, they have this sense of cultural identity. African women do not have a sense of cultural identity whatsoever. Little money and the marriage is over. One thing I've discovered, a common trend, once the women make, they go nurse, 80,000 is all they need to make, and suddenly your marriage is in danger. They want to call the shots. They want to be the ones that control everything. And if you don't like it like that, they'll bring in the American courts to destroy your life, destroy everything around you. They will insult you. And I'm like, 80,000 is all that it takes for someone to change. Or 70,000, because most of them, even the 80,000 is overtime. They've worked themselves Sunday, Saturday night, Sunday nights. They've worked themselves to death. That money that they make as overtime is what is now changing into something that they will destroy everything around them. The part that I see also is that a lot of, and I remember whenever I make my videos, I refer to bitch ass men. it has come to a point where we really can't define marriages in the African context anymore in the United States, because the man is changing diapers, he's washing the plates, he's sweeping the floor, he's cooking. Most men now have to cook to keep their marriages intact. He's picking the kids and dropping them. Like in what, like I've seen the experiences. I don't need to go for, I don't want to go to, but the woman is shouting at them, where's the child's belt? Where's the child's socks? Where's the child's everything? And the women go around telling everybody, we are partners. There's nothing like head of the household. We are partners. Okay. So the men are doing everything in the women's role and also doing everything in their role, and they also keep their jobs. And that is supposed to be the perfect. If you don't do like that, they'll call American court on you. This partner thing, I've seen people try it, and it leads to disaster. Like he says, okay, so since I'm the one doing the laundry and washing the plates and cooking the food, can you help me change that bulb? No, that's a man's job. Okay, can you help me change the engine oil in the car? No, that's a man's job. Okay, can you help me paint the other? No, it's a man's job. The women are quick to tell you what's a man's job, but you must do your job and do their job now, and do their job and keep your job also in the society, and come back and still, even there's no respect, you are supposed to be submissive, or the marriage ends on your head. And when you look into it, she started making $80,000, and I compare that with the Indian women who make $150,000, $160,000.
I know that those guys exist, but the amount of danger you put yourself in by trying to bring a foreign woman to the United States it's not worth the risk. If you're going to go and get a foreign wife, you have to go live in that. And listen, this is what I'm dealing with. Malaria and living in third world country conditions. If you have a little bit of money, you can Rex, get over here. You can certainly carve yourself out a little bubble. We have a little nice house here, and we're okay. But for the most part, I'm isolated out here. So the point of this video is, I'm 55 this year. You notice that us guys, this is the demographic that's on YouTube, that's watching red pill videos, that's watching, if anyone knows what MGTOW is, men going their own way, red pill. You know that these are the guys. It's not young guys watching. There might be a few, but there's guys that are like us. And then as we get older, what for some reason, as we get into our old age, we start following politics a lot. And it's a trap to try and put yourself in this emotional roller coaster of the news, because most of the news, if it's not bad news, it's just all bad news. There's no time that I turn on YouTube or I don't watch mainstream media. I quit watching CNN, MSM, NBC, ABC. Listen, you're going to get nothing but propaganda on there. And so, and there's a lot of truth that guys are just in denial about, especially with and I don't want to, I'm not on here to try to, say my politics. I didn't vote this year. Had I voted, I would have voted for Trump. I mean, if you got between Kamala and Trump, I don't know how in the fuck. All right, so I just look at it this way. If you're for transitioning kids, if you're with transgender rights or women in sports or this whole gay agenda, or if you're a male feminist, or if you're for open borders, we listen. If you look at even some of the mainstream, if you look at the UK and the United States, the amount of immigrants that are coming, the immigrants and the illegal immigrants in there are committing crimes. There's a reality. So my point is,
Paris Saint-Germain wins their first Champions League title, but then their fans immediately take over the streets, not only starting fires, but blocking firefighters from stopping them, then breaking in and looting sneaker stores, clashing with over 5,400 French police, as their news media covered it as PSG fans tearing apart Paris. I don't know about you, but I saw very few PSG fans rioting in the streets, as it seemed to be more of those EBT tribes that we also see in the States. As even before PSG defeated Inter Milan, they already boarded up their team store, with nearby designer locations following suit, as everybody pretty much knew riots would ensue. And even before they won the title 5-0, fans, en masse, started to storm the streets.
You know, I've been a liberal my whole life. I was never not a. I'm still liberal. Like I'm. Okay, if I was to vote, I would vote probably, even though it's against my. I think abortion is murder, but it's a stretch for me to say, oh, women shouldn't have the right over their body. I sort of agree with that, but I also would put in the caveat. Well, if women can choose to terminate a pregnancy, well, I can terminate my support. I can. It's my wallet, my choice. Her body, her choice. So each one should have a parachute to plug. If you don't have, that's real equality. If you can't have that, then you can't have either one. So, all these things that I align with politically, I guess, in my brain, because listen, I'm not involved in politics. I'm not living in America. The consequences of things happening, like I'm not in that economy. So I try not to take things too seriously. But here's the thing. All right, so I've tried, and I have friends from all walks of life. Most of my friends are, well, I have a few friends that are, you know, nobody right wing. Everyone's still pretty liberal. But the problem is that when you get people that are on left leaning, especially now today, or if they're male feminists, I've tried, like I've got some liberal friends, and one that was like voting Kamala and all this other stuff, and was like, okay, I've backed away from those friendships. Now, usually that's what liberals do. They want to cut you off. They don't. They you've seen in the news how women are, you know, will want to divorce their husband because they voted for Trump or whatever. Okay, you think about how silly that. Oh, you shouldn't let it bother your friendships. But let me tell you something. If you're being friends with a liberal, I don't think you can trust those people. Now, and I'm going to give you an example. When you have people that are denying reality, like right now, there's a white genocide going on in South Africa. I've been following that news for years. I've seen countless and countless stories about white farmers getting killed, robbed, stabbed, raped, beat, all that stuff. And if you look on the news right now, the entire mainstream media is denying it. Okay, fine. Listen, I don't live in South Africa. That's very far away from me. It doesn't really affect me. But, you know, because I'm kind of tribalistic, if that's happening to white people, because I've said before that I'm sick of the reverse race. You know, it's not reverse racism. There's a lot of racism, but the racism has turned onto white people now. I'm getting black fatigue. And listen, I'm with a black woman. It's culture. I'm black culture fatigued out. I'm not black fatigued because I live in Africa. Every person I see is black, and I get along. And people here are hardworking, honest. I feel safe here. I've not had any well, I did get home invasion last year, but that's in another video. I was targeted because I was white. So there's some things going on here. So I don't think I can be friends with any liberal-minded people anymore. I don't think you can trust them. And here's the case in point. So years ago, when I was in school, I got into, I think I was about 14. I got into an argument with a girl. She was a girl in my class, and we had an argument over a pencil. And she called me a name, and I called her a bitch. I called her a name back, and she attacked me. And she started flailing her arms at me, and I tried. And my friend, my so-called friend, now I'm sure that this is the same type of liberal, male feminist type logic. He grabbed me from the back and restrained me as she sat there and got about 3 or 4 licks on my face, scratching my face, and held me. And I was just like, that should have been my awakening moment. Like, and later on I was like, hey man, why did you do that? Because the whole school was like making fun of me. Oh, you got beat up by a girl. It was very traumatic for me. I still remember it very well. And I said, hey man, why in the fuck did you hold me? Oh, I was, I didn't want you to hurt her. Motherfucker, you got me hurt. And then, so I'm starting to see now that I don't think I want to be friends with liberal people or male feminists. And I had a couple friends here that were like, they're the blue-pilled feminist people that think women should be equal and all this other stuff. And they think women have been oppressed. They've swallowed the blue pill for life. They think they've listened to feminists this whole time, and now they're living this, you know, and they're so contradictory too, because like I said, I had a friend here who thinks Elon Musk is a Nazi, that Donald Trump is a Nazi, and I sent him a video about the white genocide going on in South Africa, and he accused me of trying to make black people look bad.
For you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa.
Uh-oh. And so it begins.
But I can answer that for the president.
Trump knows that there's a video. He doesn't know that there's a video.
It's for him. No, seriously. I'd rather have him answer. Yeah, I'd rather answer that.
Yeah, you're going to have him answer it that way.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have... No, wait.
Mr. President, I must say.
Is Natalie here? Somebody here to turn that... And, excuse me, turn the lights down.
The content president. Turn down the lights. We're going to watch this together.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. Never be scared to kill.
Bro, look at his face. Look at his fucking face. Is this real? Yes, this is real. This is in the White House right now, today. Ooh, pa, pa, ooh. Ah. This is crazy.
So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man.
And you can see that he's not looking at it.
That's no one. But we're starting with this white.
Here's your stack of receipts.
Kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer. Shoot to kill. Come on, sir. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Listen to this again.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad.
This is very bad.
As if that's my agenda to try to make look. I said, nah, man. Why would you think that? So, listen. If you have liberal friends, or if you're so far left liberal, I don't think. And I even have a friend online that I've been friends with for years. And now we don't have conversations, and we don't live in the same country, so I can kind of, we don't have to agree on anything or whatever, and we just play online, and it's cool. But in a real life situation, you can't trust those people. You can't trust people that don't see reality. Now, like I said, when I was in Nigeria, I told you this story in another video. When I was when I had my woman in Nigeria, and she knew that I had been falsely accused before, and when we had some problems, I got falsely accused again in Nigeria. And thank God I had the video, and I've posted that video on this channel, and I showed it to the police. And then, but people, left-minded people, have told me, well, if you've been accused before and then you got accused over there, well, the common denominator is you. No, how about we have this system of Me Too, and women that can falsely accuse you if they're mad at you, and you're at risk. You're at risk every time. And this was an African woman, and this is why I'm saying you got to stay away. This is why I keep telling people, I won't go to Philippines or Thailand or Asian country because they're too closely tied to America. Even Nigeria, if you're in an English-speaking country, they're tied to America. They're consuming American media, American pop culture. They have this mindset of American where women are just free to accuse you of whatever. And I'm sure. And listen, I even got into an argument with her aunt's husband, who was American. And it was at the time that it was back in 2021. He was telling me that I'm a conspiracy theorist because I won't take the COVID jab. I said, I'm not taking that jab. And I have the most, vaccinations of anyone on the planet. I'm ex-military. I have everything. I got vaccines that were glow in the dark stuff when I was in Iraq. I took yellow fever before I got here. I take malaria pills, but I was not taking that jab. And now they're confirming now that the jab is killing people. And all my friends, all of them took the jab and proceeded to get sick over and over again. Jab free, COVID free, this entire time, never got it. And so I guess maybe I'm a right-wing conspiracy theorist now. Listen, there's not going to be any conspiracies left because they're all getting proven true. I don't know about the moon landing and all that shit. I don't know. But I'm talking about the stuff that's been going on lately. I don't think I can have liberal friends anymore. I don't trust them. If I got when I got falsely accused, her whole family got behind her, and they're all Biden lovers, and so they don't see things correctly, and they just know that a woman is accusing me, so I must be guilty. So yeah, listen. I don't trust the government. I don't trust women. I don't trust trying to even bring a woman back in that system. I do things to protect myself, and I think in order to protect yourself, you can't have liberal friends in your life, because if something goes south, they're not going to be there to back you up. I think they're spineless, delusional people, and that's most women. Like most women are delusional. Anyway, so that's my rant. I just wanted to put that out there because I'm seeing that I just can't. I can't bring those people in my life anymore. So anyway, all right, that's all I wanted to say.